Before she became a beloved subway icon and mother to an Oscar-nominated star, Alice Tan Ridley was a warrior hidden in plain sight. Her voice echoed through the grimy tunnels of New York City, powerful enough to stop hardened commuters dead in their tracks. But honey, behind that powerhouse voice was a woman whose real story the world barely knew, until now. At 72 years old, Alice's beautiful, gritty journey came to a heartbreaking end. And the final days of her life? Baby, they were full of raw emotions, secret battles, and a bittersweet goodbye that'll leave you shaking. Alice Tan Ridley wasn't just Gabourey Sidibe's mother, she was a legend, a one-woman symphony. From subway platforms to the national stage of America's Got Talent, Alice sang her soul out. Yet behind the viral fame and thunderous applause was a life marked by struggle, sacrifice, and a desperate fight for survival. We're peeling back the layers today. The highs, the lows, and the jaw-dropping final chapter of a woman who deserves to be celebrated beyond the shadow of anyone else's fame. Trust me, by the end of this journey, you'll never hear her voice the same way again. Before the world cheered for her, Alice was grinding hard. Born in Georgia in 1951, Alice grew up with music running through her veins. Gospel, blues, soul. It was in her blood. But life didn't roll out a red carpet. Oh no. She became a young mother, raising 2 kids, including little Gabby, all while juggling multiple jobs to survive. By day, she was a special education teacher in Harlem. By night, she descended into the grimy depths of New York City's subway system, not for fame, not for clout, but to survive. Every single note she sang was a prayer, a paycheck, a dream kept alive. People would pause, wide-eyed, as Alice belted out notes that could rival Aretha Franklin herself. Yet for decades, despite her raw talent, the big music industry doors stayed stubbornly shut. But Alice wasn't about to quit. She kept singing her truth into those filthy tunnels, pouring out every ounce of hope into the grimy air. And when she was crowned the Queen of 59th Street, Trust and Believe, she earned every syllable of that title. Fast forward to 2010. At 58 years old, yes, 58, Alice finally grabbed a national microphone and auditioned for America's Got Talent. Baby, when she sang At Last by Etta James, the room stopped breathing. The audience cried. The judges looked like they'd seen a ghost from a more soulful, honest time. Overnight, Alice became a sensation. News outlets, blogs, talk shows, everyone wanted a piece of the Queen of 59th Street. It looked like her dreams had finally come true. But oh honey, fame isn't always what it seems. Behind the flashing cameras were managers whispering shady deals, record labels dangling baited contracts full of fine print, and an industry that wanted to mold Alice into something she wasn't. They wanted her to change, to fit some neat little box that had nothing to do with the woman she was. Alice? She said no. She chose integrity over image, soul over sales. And sadly, that decision came with a brutal price. Hollywood's attention span is short. Without a team of sharks fighting for her, the doors that had cracked open slowly slammed shut. Still, Alice kept singing, kept fighting, kept believing. As the years rolled by, fans noticed something. Alice was appearing less and less. No farewell tour, no dramatic goodbye, just silence. Whispers grew louder. Was she sick? Was she tired? Was it burnout from decades of hustling with little reward? The truth was even more heartbreaking. Alice was battling serious health issues quietly, privately, away from the hungry gaze of the public eye. She didn't want sympathy. She didn't want pity headlines. She wanted peace. And so, in early 2025, Alice Tan Ridley slipped away quietly at 72 years old. No flashing lights, no screaming headlines, just a soft, private farewell to the woman who had moved mountains with her voice. If you thought Gabourey Sidibe, our fierce queen from Precious, was gonna let her mother's story fade quietly into the background, you thought wrong. When Alice passed, Gabby's heart shattered, and she let the world see it. Her tribute? It wasn't some glitzy PR statement. It was raw, gut-wrenching, and real. She sang for strangers her whole life, Gabby wrote. But at home, she was our anchor, our peace, our warrior. She didn't just teach me how to survive, she taught me how to shine. Baby! The comment section exploded. Tears, love, shock. People who had filmed Alice in subway stations, who had stumbled across her voice on YouTube late at night during hard times, all flooded Gabby's post with heartbreak and gratitude. And suddenly, Alice's story wasn't just remembered, it was reignited. Almost overnight, tributes poured in. Street musicians played her songs at her old subway spots, leaving flowers where she used to stand. Former America's Got Talent contestants wrote about the backstage hugs and kindness Alice had given them. One viral TikTok video, a young girl standing exactly where Alice once sang, belting out At Last in her honor. And honey, not a dry eye in the comments. Alice Tan Ridley's voice may have gone quiet, but her soul still singing loud. You see, Alice's true power was never in a Grammy Award or a record deal. Her power was in the way she made strangers feel less alone, the way she defied the music industry's brutal beauty standards, the way she kept singing, long after the cameras stopped rolling. And Gabby? She's making sure her mama's story is heard. Sources close to Gabby say she's deep into developing a documentary about Alice's life. Not some cheap career highlight reel, but a gut-wrenching, real journey through motherhood, poverty, racism, music, and sheer willpower. There are even whispers of an album featuring Alice's unreleased original songs, handwritten lyrics she kept tucked away in old notebooks, songs she dreamed of recording but never got the chance to. Honey, can you imagine hearing those lost songs, knowing the blood, sweat, and tears behind them? Get your tissues ready. And just when you thought your heart couldn't take any more, Alice had one final wish before she passed. According to a close family friend, Alice asked that her unreleased songs be shared with young girls, especially girls from struggling communities, who needed to know that their voices mattered too. If I'm not here to sing them, Alice said, let someone else find their voice in mine. Gulp. I'm not crying, you're crying. Gabby is honoring that wish with a scholarship fund in Alice's name, helping young female musicians chase their dreams, no matter where they come from, no matter who tells them they don't fit the mold. Today, Alice's voice isn't just echoing through old subway stations or dusty YouTube clips. It's living on in music schools, in young singers learning to feel before they sing. It's living in letters Gabby receives from fans, people who say Alice's voice helped pull them through divorce, depression, cancer, grief. One cancer survivor wrote to Gabby, "When I thought I couldn't fight anymore, I found your mom's version of I Will Always Love You. I cried, then I got back up. I'm still here. Thank you for sharing her with us." You cannot measure that kind of impact with awards. That's legacy, baby. That's forever. So if this story moved you even a little, here's what Alice would want. Share her music. Speak her name. Remind someone that greatness doesn't come from viral fame. It comes from refusing to quit even when the world isn't watching. Because Alice Tan Ridley didn't wait for the world to recognize her. She sang anyway. And now, her music, her spirit, her power, it's just getting started. Just